Well, it's a very good evening to you. Welcome to the West Ham Weekly on the West Ham Voice on a Monday night. I hope you've all had a good weekend. You should have done another win. And have we started to dream? Have we started to believe that perhaps West Ham United might get out of this relegation fear once and for all? Look, people are saying, oh, well, come on, it was only Burnley, but you can only beat the teams in front of you. And we did just that job. We beat a team who are fighting for their Premier League survival, just like we were, or we are. And we did the job. We did what we needed to do. 2 goals in the first half. We saw that before, didn't we, against Chelsea? But this time round, we held out. This time round, the bombardment didn't happen. This time round, Burnley didn't have £200 million worth of substitutes to bring on in the second half. So we did what we had to do. We won a game. It's taken us, again, within touching distance of the teams above us. And who knows? Who knows what the next week or the next couple of Premier League games are going to bring, because we've got Man United at home on Tuesday night. So I'm going to do a preview of that and win that. And the pressure really is on the teams above us, because they've then got to go out and get themselves a result against the respective teams that they're playing. So there's all to play for. There is absolutely all to play for. And what we're doing is we're playing extremely well. We're playing with a lot of confidence. We are ticking now, and long may it rain. So I'm going to talk about the game a little bit later on, but I just want to reflect on one or two of the changes that were made. Of course, the big talking point is Mads Hermansen recalled into the senior team. I don't know what you guys think. I mean, I was a little bit surprised, but there are some fans who suggest that, you know, it was about time that Areola got dropped. And of course, getting a clean sheet was testament to the fact that Nuno was correct in making the change that he did. Is he going to keep the same goalkeeper for the next game? Apparently, Areola was the one to blame for the defeat against Chelsea. I think that's a bit of a deflection on Nuno's decision to bring on a defender and take off a striker. So I don't know about that. But you know, there are other players. I was really surprised that Disasi came on from the start. It was a bit of a shock, given that he is not match fit. So Nuno made some bold decisions. He made some interestingly brave decisions, and they kind of worked. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does against Man United on Tuesday night. And I'll talk about that later on. So I'm going to get through all the usual stuff first. And I'm going to, because you have to call out this team, the women's team, who came back from an incredible fight back at the weekend. They were 2-0 down with 9 minutes to go against Brighton. And they smashed it, and they got themselves into a 3-0 win. The first home win for new head coach Rita Guarino at Chigwell Construction Stadium. Fionn Morgan got our first goal back on the 82nd minute. Then Shakira Martinez drew us level 4 minutes later. And what looked to be a game that was going to end up in a draw, Vivian Asai in the first minute of added time got the match winner. Well done. We climbed to 10th in the league out of 12. We climbed to 10th in the league, and a win over Everton next Sunday will put us on the same number of points, but still behind them on goal difference. So all to play for. Well done to the ladies' team. The Academy have had a bit of a mixed bag over the past 7 days. Last Tuesday night was an entertaining match. The game against the Premier League Cup game between West Ham and Aston Villa. The game finished 1-1 after extra time, and the tie was decided on penalties. And this young lad, Andre Dyke, was the match winner. He got the goal back to make it 1-1, and he got the winning penalty. It was a 5-2 penalty win for West Ham United after extra time. That means they've knocked out the reigning FA Youth Cup and Under-18s Premier League champions, which made the whole win sweeter than ever. And we now go through to the semi-finals of the Premier League Cup. So well done to the Under-18s. Fantastic efforts. Their next game for the Under-18s is against Leicester City at home at the weekend. A win there will see us rise to 4th place, maybe even 3rd, dependent on the results that Spurs may get. As for the under-21s, unfortunately, not quite so sweet. A little bit bittersweet, to be honest with you. It's a bit of a bad week for the under-21s, all in all. We threw away a 3-goal lead in the Premier League development league, the under-21s league, against Middlesbrough last week. The game finished at 3-3, and then got uncharacteristically thumped 5-0 by Fulham last Friday as well. Now, look, we've got 2 games coming up for the under-21s to make amends. And I don't understand the fixtures for the under-21s because we've got a game this coming Wednesday in the Premier League International Cup against where we host Anderlecht. And then on Friday, we host Leicester City in the under-21s Premier League. A win could see us rise as high as 6th place, dependent on results around us. But it's weird that they have what it means is one of those 2 games is going to play the strong team, and one of those 2 games is going to see a weakened team. I hope they focus on the Premier League and climb as high up that league as possible. What about some loans? We've got a number of players out on loan. 5 players were out on loan last week for their clubs around the English leagues and abroad. Centre-back Michael Forbes, bit of a forgotten name. He's been on loan a couple of times now. Scored his 2nd goal for Northampton Town, notching the opener in a 3-1 victory over Stevenage in League One. Caelan Casey's Leyton Orient put a stop to their poor run. 3 matches defeated with a goalless draw at promotion hopefuls Stockport County. Casey was introduced on the 71st minute as part of a triple substitution. George Earthy was an unused sub against Bristol City, who collected a massive 3 points at home to 3rd place Hull City. And after last week's statement victory over leaders Schalke in Germany's Bundesliga 2, Callum Marshall retained his place in VfL Bochum's side and completed a 90-minute game in a 1-1 draw against Munster. That's what they're called, Munster. Maxwell Cornet, remember him? He's still playing. Genoa were involved in a 3rd consecutive 5-goal Serie A encounter, this time being narrowly beaten by defending champions Napoli. Napoli were reduced to 10 men, but moments after coming on, Maxwell Cornet was adjudged to have made contact inside the area, allowing Napoli to convert a stoppage time penalty, which saw them win 3-2. So he made a mark for himself, but not quite the mark that I think his team really wanted. In Hungary, despite taking the lead twice inside the opening 18 minutes, Christian Hegyi, playing for MTK Budapest, were beaten 4-2, and I'm no way going to pronounce the club that they played against, Niri Gaza. There you go. So that's the quick roundup, so we can focus on the game against Burnley at the weekend, and look ahead to the game on Tuesday night against Manchester United. So what about the game? Look, the starting lineup, 3 changes were made. Mads Hermansen was, as I said at the beginning of the show, Mads Hermansen came in for Areola. He also brought on Wilson, started the game in place of Pablo, and Disasi made his Premier League debut, his debut, should I say, for West Ham United. Look, I think all 3 played okay, but you've got to ask, did Hermansen do enough to keep his place for Tuesday night's game against Man United? Look, one thing we've got to give Nuno credit for is he's not afraid to make changes. Thankfully, sometimes they've not been that good. We know that. But these changes kind of worked. And he's not afraid to make changes during a game. Most of them a bit unforgiving. But so I think he got it right in terms of the changes he made during the game against Burnley. Now, like I said, people are saying, don't get too excited. It was only Burnley. But then we got really excited when we were going away to Wolves and we got thumped there, didn't we? So I think we can only beat the teams in front of us. And we did a professional job on Saturday. Nuno resisted temptation to bring on another defender when we were 2-0 up, which was good. It shows that he's learning the job. And instead, he did what I was hoping he'd do, he packed out the midfield when he brought Potts on for Callum Wilson. And that was the right thing to do, because what that does is it allows you to defend a little bit further up rather than defending your 18-yard box. So I think it was sensible. His subs, all in all, seemed to be sensible because it helped to contain the game without conceding space. The other subs throughout the game were balanced and seemed to be pretty much spot on. I didn't have really any complaints in the game. Yeah, we were under a little bit of pressure at the beginning of the second half. We expected that. Burnley were at home. They're fighting for their lives, 2-0 down. They were going to come out all guns blazing, just like Chelsea did the weekend before. But we weathered that storm. What did worry me, they had something like 3 shots in the first 5 minutes of the second half. And it was a bit of robust defending, desperate defending at times. But we kept a clean sheet, which is really, really vital. Look, I suggested some weeks back that maybe Paco Gemes, the assistant manager to Nuno, has got to be credited for some of the influence that he's brought to the club. We're now more on the front foot. We kind of like, we're going for it. It's a bit like what Leeds United did when they seemed to change their season round a little bit, where they were persuaded to start, or the manager was persuaded to start playing like a 4-4-2 formation, and they benefited from it. And I think Nuno's gone along the same path, and maybe that is because of Paco Gemes. It's a bit too coincidental, isn't it, that we've become much more attack-minded with Gemes coming in. But what was also an interesting fact is that I didn't realise this, that we are the highest scoring Premier League club in the first 15 minutes of all league games. I'm surprised, given that we hardly scored any goals and given that we kept losing a lot of games. I'm surprised that stat came up, which is good. It shows that we are on the front foot, that we are trying to go for teams now, and we're trying to close the game early. With Wilson playing alongside Castellanos, I thought that was in a way, for away from home, I think it was a bit of a bold move. But maybe Nuno, he went for the gamble. Burnley away from home, they didn't have an awful lot. They had an awful lot of shots, something like 16 or something, but only 4 of those were on target, and they were pretty lame as well. And I think Nuno went for that gamble. I think he went for the gamble of using players that he thought would kill the game off pretty quickly. Nuno was asked in his pre-match press conference for the Man United game as to why he did opt to change the goalkeeper, why he went for Hermansen over Areola, and his answer was pretty diplomatic. He talked about how Hermansen had trained really hard in training, and he earned his chance. But there's a little bit more to that, isn't there? Because we heard a number of different rumours, didn't we, as to why Areola wasn't in the starting lineup. One rumour was that he picked up a knock. Another rumour is that he was ill. But then if either of those were true, then why was he even on the bench? And apparently the knock was only minor, but you still don't risk putting a goalkeeper on the bench if a knock is only minor. You go for your third choice. I know Fabianski is out, but then you give Herrick a chance in goal, don't you, or on the bench. And illness, same thing, really. If you're ill, if you're not 100%, are you really going to be risked? If you are called upon, are you really going to be risked to come and play? I don't know, because what is apparently now coming out is that Nuno blamed Areola for the defeat against Chelsea last weekend. I think that's harsh. If that's true, I think that's pretty harsh, because Nuno, for me, by blaming Areola for that defeat, was kind of covering for his own mistake in bringing on Max Kilman in place of Pablo to try and protect the 2-1 lead against a team that had an abundance of attacking players. Look, I get it in some ways. You're under the cosh. You've got a lot of balls coming in, etc. You want to defend that. But for me, I don't know. I think bringing on last weekend against Chelsea yet another defender caused more confusion than it did stability. And to actually have Areola as the scapegoat for that defeat, I think is, I don't know. You tell me what you think. I think that's rather harsh, to be quite honest with you. Look, for me, Areola, he isn't the best goalkeeper in the world, but he's certainly not the worst goalie in the world. I think he single-handedly kept us in many games this season, and I think he gets a bad press for me. I think he's had it all the way through his career at West Ham. When he arrived, Moyes still favoured Fabianski, and I think at that time that was absolutely right to do. And Areola was our cup keeper, in the European competitions and domestic competitions, etc., and did exceptionally well. And he demonstrated that he was a very, very decent goalkeeper. And then when he did take the starting, be in the starting lineup, that didn't kind of last. There was no consistency there, because no sooner had he made a few errors, Fabianski was back in goal, and he's yo-yoed ever since. It's been under Potter. Potter preferred Hermansen, yo-yoed under Lopetegui. So maybe there's something in that. Maybe all these managers are not wrong. Like I said, I don't think Areola is the best, one of our best keepers ever, but I think he's solid, and I think he's kept us in a lot of games. We know apparently he's got a lack of communication skills on the pitch. Doesn't communicate with his defenders very well. Apparently we know he's got poor distribution skills, where it's considered that Hermansen is better at claiming the ball. He prefers to catch rather than punch, which Areola does. He's meant to communicate better with his defenders. But to be honest with you, I was right behind the goal on Saturday. I didn't really hear him be any more vocal than Areola be more vocal, to be honest. But his distribution of the ball is indeed much better. His distribution of the ball, he gets the ball out quicker. It means that we can start attacking from the back and so on much quicker. So I get that. But I don't know. In Areola's defence, I think he's a fantastic shot stopper. I think his great close effort reflexes are second to none. And he's got great reach. Whereas the two traits that I don't think Hermansen has is the reach. You place a ball in the corner, and Hermansen's going to struggle. And in the early part of this season, we kind of saw that. We saw that he struggled with the ball whenever a strike was taken, going to one of the corners. He couldn't reach it. He's 6'1", relatively short for a goalkeeper. Areola is 6'4". So what do we want in a keeper? Do we want someone that's got great distribution, but can't reach the ball when it's going into the corner of the net? Or do we want someone that's a good shot stopper? Yes, of course we want all. But at this moment in time, we haven't got, we've got one or the other. Look, I am a bit of a Areola fan. I won't deny it. I think he's been superb. I've seen some of this, throughout his West Ham time. He's made some absolutely fantastic, crucial saves for West Ham United. But yeah, he may not be the best at commanding his 18-yard box, but I think Barbosa has taught him, if you can't catch it, punch it away, and he's learned to do that. Distribution is improved marginally, but it isn't like what Hermansen can offer. And the other thing about Hermansen, I've got to be honest, was he properly tested against Burnley? Catching the ball for him in an uncrowded 18-yard box was an awful lot easier than it was for Areola in a very crowded 18-yard box against Chelsea. And Hermansen had the benefit of having a giant. I mean, he's big, Disasi. I didn't realise just how tall he was, but he had the benefit of having a new defender in front of him. Wouldn't Areola have equally benefited from playing against Burnley and having Disasi in front of him? In a way, I feel sorry for Areola for not being given the opportunity to have gotten his first clean sheet of the season. It was kind of taken away from him because Hermansen now is the only goalkeeper we have with 2 clean sheets to his name this season. I don't know. Look, it seems that Nuno has made his choice. It looks very likely that Hermansen will keep his place in the starting lineup against Man United. And it will be a much, much bigger test and see how he fares there. If he comes through unscathed, then I'll be extremely pleased. But I do have my concerns. Now, I mentioned Axel Disasi. Surprised that he started, surprised that he did the whole 90 minutes, but absolutely delighted in what he displayed, what he offered. I think he was just great. He was a solid defender, no nonsense kind of defender, kind of like that. He really worked well alongside Todibo, and there's now suggestion that sorry, not Todibo, Mavropanos, and now there's a suggestion that Todibo is going to lose his place. He won't be able to get it back once he's back from suspension. I think Nuno has got it in his head that it's going to be Todibo and Disasi in the starting lineup. And there's the other thing, the French connection with Areola behind. Wouldn't there be better communication between those 3 players, all French speaking? I don't know. Look, I think it was a good win against Burnley. It was a good away day. I think we played really, really well. We took our goals excellently. So, Somerville 5 in 5, and I keep saying, had his goal not been disallowed against Forest, it would have been 6 in 6. He's bang on form. Bowen was happier. He looked much more lively. Putting on two strikers. I mean, that was the other surprise. Wilson and Castellanos starting up front. A proper old-fashioned 4-4-2. I never thought I'd see the day when a manager at West Ham will bring back the 4-4-2 system, but it works so well because it kind of frees up all the players. When all the players are now trusted to do the job that they have to do, so you had Fernandes and Souček in the middle of the park controlling the midfield. You got your wide players, sort of attacking from those areas, Bowen and Somerville. You got the two strikers up front, causing disruption for the opposition's defence. And we looked solid at the back. Yeah, we had a bit of a, like I said, a bit of a scare at the beginning of the second half. Burnley were bound to come at us, but we weathered that storm, which is really good. Right, before I go into the preview of the game against Man United coming up, let's go into your comments and say hello to people. Good evening, Stephen. I hope you're well, mate. Thank you for joining. Much appreciated. He says, where did that go? Stephen again. Hope West Ham get another big 3 points on Tuesday night. Well, this is what we're all hoping for. And I'm going to do a preview of that game in a moment once I've gone through your comments. Good evening to you, James. I hope you're well. Thank you, Anthony. Please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, please become a subscriber. There's a QR code that's just appeared in the top right and top corner there. All you got to do is click on that and you can become a member of a subscriber of the channel. Table 6 are still waiting for their spaghetti bolognese. Pull your finger out, Michael. Okay. Graham, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. I was overjoyed watching our display on the TV. Truly a great team effort, but am I wrong? Am I wrong to be excited for tonight? You're not wrong to be excited. I think we're all excited for tomorrow night's match. I'm really looking forward to it. Under the lights, we're going to make it difficult for them. The fans play a part in that as well. So hopefully I'm sure the support will absolutely be there. Sean, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Good evening to you, Steve. How are you, mate? Kalispera to you. Anthony, congratulations to the women's team. What a great comeback. Clearly, new managers giving them a never say die attitude. Absolutely fantastic. Pete, good to see you, mate. Great weekend and West Ham won. Happy days. Absolutely. Mark, good evening to you. Nuno did a lot right on Saturday and the team put in thoroughly professional performance. This is what it was. It was a thoroughly professional performance against a team who were also struggling and battling to stay in the Premier League. Highlight for me, apart from the goals, was Disasi's debut. Absolutely. Sean, Andy Irving, Sparta Prague debut, 1 assist, 1 yellow card, 69 minutes, 3-0 win. Well done to him. Good evening to you, Robin. I hope you're well. Our fans were loud and proud on Saturday. Big up from me for those who travelled. And the Tatty song was great. Bit of that was a lovely song. It was great. It was a great journey up there. But journey back weren't so great. The train was about an hour. You just reminded me. Got to claim my refund from the train company. Train back was an hour late. An hour late. Anthony, Mark, good form continues. Somerville, Bowen, Fernandes, 3-0 on Tuesday. Any win will do. Good evening, Harry. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Yuha, hello, mate. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. I don't know if I was late. I think I was bang on time. I'm sure you lot were all early. Good evening, Steve. How are you? I hope you're well. Angus, hello, mate. I'm wondering, can we beat Man United at home? Why not? Why not? If we play anywhere near the way we've been playing against other teams over the last 4, 5, 6 games, then why not? This is what we always wanted. We've always wanted a West Ham United side that's got a little bit of fight in it, got some fire in its belly, and we've got that back. We've got fire in our bellies. We can go at. Look, we were 2-0 up against Chelsea away from home only the weekend before last. So why not at home? Put Man United to the sword. They're a different kettle of fish. I'm going to talk about them in a minute, but why not? Why can't we really go for them? Toha, good evening to you. I hope you're well. I said 21. I'm sure I was early. Will, I really fancy us to beat Man U. Unfortunately, Forest have Wolves. I would like to know our injuries. Nuno hinted on. Going to talk about that in a moment as well. Not a foregone conclusion, is it? Wolves, they've got nothing to play for. They might get something out of that game. But if we win, then psychologically that puts Forest under an awful lot of pressure. Josh, good evening. I hope you're well. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Really feeling a positive result. I don't know how, but I am. This is what we've been given, and this is the hope that we've all craved for, because we're playing really, really well. So there's absolutely no reason why not to feel optimistic. If we were playing poorly, if this was 2 months ago, the way we played against Wolves, etc., and those sorts of performances, and I would dare say, you absolutely, got nothing to be cheering on about. But we're playing exceptionally well, and I can't see us changing that. So I think we've got a lot to look forward to. Good evening to you. Apparently, it's Souček and Pablo who are injured. You got one right. I didn't hear about the Souček one, but Pablo, I think, could be a player that's injured. There are rumours about other players that I'm going to talk about in a moment. Areola better start against Man United. Well, this is it. We don't know, do we? I think Nuno has made his mark with regards to Hermansen. It is a tough one. I know who I'd prefer, but it's going to be interesting to see who Nuno actually plays. Good evening to you, Trodge. I hope you're well. Good evening, Carpi. I hope you're well. Look at Chelsea's first goal. What was Areola doing? Areola, a bit like Paqueta in a way, does the Hollywood stuff but lacks the basics, although I don't rate Hermansen, but he is keeping clean sheets. That's a fair point, but I don't know if I would blame Areola for that first goal. Do I? Or do I blame the central defenders? I don't know. That's a fair point. I don't know if I agree with it, but that's a fair point. Adam, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Wonder if Nuno is playing mind games, suggesting that we would have players out injured tomorrow. He's done that before. He has indeed. I think there is one that is looking unlikely. Any more than one, I'd be really, really surprised. Anthony, hope you're well, mate. Any truth that Somerville, Pablo and Bowen are doubts for the game against Man United tomorrow night? Well, see how many different names are coming out. I've heard about Bowen. Haven't heard about Somerville. Definitely heard about Pablo. Someone else has just mentioned about Souček as well. At this rate, all our players will be out, and then they'll all turn up, and everyone will be wondering what all the fuss was. Kevin, bring on Man United. We will do them tomorrow night. Come on, you eyes. Absolutely. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Inderjit? Inderjit. Somerville and Bowen, they were seen training today. There you go. That dispels that rumour straight away. Colin, good evening to you, mate. I hope you're well. I'm enjoying the change in form. I actually feel how change in form I feel is a lot down to Paco Gemes. Wish he was here sooner. People are saying this. We did this with Irving when Moyes was here. We were praising Irving apparently for all the good that was happening, and praising and having a go at Moyes for all the bad that was happening. It may not always be that way. I mean, I have suggested it myself. There clearly is something different going on. And long may it rain. If Gemes is making his mark and making different suggestions, more attack-minded suggestions to Nuno, then praise Nuno for allowing that to happen and for him listening to him. Good evening, English Yardie. I hope you're well. Frog, evening to you. I'm very well. Joan, good evening to you. Areola needs to start tomorrow. He isn't. He's been a saviour a fair few times, despite goals conceded. His experience is required against Man United. And this is where I'm at. This is why my head's at. Not only for his experience, for his reach, 6'4" against 6'1", so there's a difference there, and he's a big time player, isn't he, Areola? Who's going to ever forget that save he made in the game against Seville at home in the Europa League a couple of years ago? Point blank save. That goal, that if that had gone in, that would have been our European tour ended there and then. And he's done that several times over the years in the Premier League, in Europe, etc. And I like him. Is he the best keeper we've ever had? No, of course not. But he is a big-time player. Obsidian, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Good evening to you, John. West Ham family. Notice Pablo was limping when he came on. Also, Areola and Hermansen. Both limping? Pablo, what? Yeah. from the minute he came on in the game against Burnley, he was limping. He got through the game, but I don't know how good that would have done him. Anthony, I'm not worried about Forest or Leeds. I want to finish above the Spuds. They've got Newcastle and Arsenal. You've got to look higher. Forget about Forest. You're absolutely correct there. The teams above them are the ones that I want to chase because they're 6 points ahead of us. We close that gap. Even if we don't catch Forest after this midweek fixtures, if we close that gap on the other teams above Forest. Carpi. Areola flaps at everything. Nuno won't start him. That's why he started punching the ball more. I don't know. Yeah, probably. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm really confused as to the goalie situation. You know, was he really to blame, Areola, for the defeat against Chelsea? Stavio, good evening, mate. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please become a subscriber. You can click on that QR code. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the content. And also, please hit the hype button. The hype button elevates the channel. It means that you promote the channel on my behalf to other people to watch the video. Good evening, Epic. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Good evening to you. Aaron, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. Martin, how are you? Some welcome results last weekend. Unfortunately, United are playing very well since Carrick came in. But so are we. So are we. Their last 4 games, our last 4 games, you know, we're on the up. They're on the up. I don't know. Daniela, good evening to you. Missed the start. Well done to both men's. And I think you meant women's there. Yeah, absolutely. Leon, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Trudge, not lost to Man United in the last 5 games at home. I wish you hadn't have said that. Now that's in my head. All I'm thinking is, here we go. Who else do we have? John. Nuno could make changes once it don't 8. Didn't understand that, mate. You're going to have to retype that, I'm afraid. Obsidian. Man United haven't got a point at the London Stadium since Ollie was at the wheel, apparently. Interesting. Lawrence, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. From Lexington, Kentucky. I love it. I love it when the fans from abroad come in to say hello. I hope you're well, mate. Did you watch the Super Bowl last night? I kind of did. Fell asleep. Kind of did. Can't remember who won. Shows how interested I was. Pufo, good evening. Pufo? Sorry, didn't know you do. Always do a live show on a Monday night, mate. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Please don't forget, you know, my shows normally, live shows, normally on a Monday night, the West Ham Weekly, and on occasion do the Friday night live as well. But can't do one this Friday because I'll be in Burton upon Trent this Friday night, going to stay the night with mates before the cup game. So, well, maybe we could do something from the pub out there. How about that? Colin, still, I feel we can get a result against Man U, for we have a team. We have a team for them to worry about us, and we are playing workmanlike rather than individuals. I love the 4-4-2. Anyone remember someone number 10? Anyone miss him? Michael. Sheffield United have just subbed on West Ham legend Calvin Phillips. Oh, how the mighty fall, eh? Sean. I backed a load of Seahawks defense for MVP. They gave it to the running back. Is that who? Is that? I'm not going to. America, that is American football, isn't it? It was. Was it the Seattle Seahawks? It was who played against someone else. You know. Leon, I'm glad I don't do a show about American football. Leon, we have to take a few big scalps to stay up. Man United a possibility. We have decent record against them. This is it. You know, we're looking at our fixtures and going, oh, 5 more wins or 6 more wins against all the teams that we think we should beat. But we got Arsenal coming up. We got Liverpool. We got Man United. We got Man City. We got to take at least a win and at least a draw out of those 4 games coming up. Surely, if we're really to stay up. Daniela, it's in our hands now. I'm getting a tad tired of other fans saying we have a tough run-in. Everyone's got a tough run-in. This is it. You know, we're not the only ones. All these other teams have got a tough run-in as well. Huge. Good evening, mate. I hope you're well. I'm not comfortable with either keeper when it comes to defending corners, crosses, and free kicks. Yeah, I'm with you there. So which one do you choose? Carpi, managers like consistency with goalkeepers. Areola will pull off and a wonder save them flap at set pieces. Yeah, he's done that. Yeah, okay. Frog. We'd be buried already without Areola, but good to see Mads get time after Potter threw him 48 hours into his club, coming into the club. Lawrence. Chelsea loss was due to them pressing us hard in the second half. Their pace killed us in the second half. Areola, great saves, makes dumb mistakes sometimes. And this is I'm agreeing with that, which is why I'm a little bit sort of confused as to why Areola would be blamed for that defeat, because they pressed £200 million worth of substitutes came on, and they went all down the left flank, our right hand side of the defence. They went all down that way, and everything came from their subs and mostly from that side. So is it only Areola at fault? Debbie, Mark, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Not trying to overhype Disasi as he was only against Burnley, but for a player who hasn't played till from April last year, he didn't do too badly on his debut. Absolutely agree. He played superb, and hopefully, if he's not too knackered, he'll play again tomorrow night against Man United. Make West Ham great again. Areola is a Hollywood keeper. Great camera saves. His bad distribution invites more attacks, and I agree with that as well. I do agree with that. I think he does more than just Hollywood saves. He's pulled off some fantastic saves, but I agree with you. His distribution does invite more attacks. I get that. Leon, Daniela, I would say our upcoming games are 50-50 with some hard and some beatable. Yeah, fair play. Trudge, notice we were linked to a lot of goalkeepers in the win. And this is the question that I asked when I did the reflection show. Did I do it yesterday? Because when we were linked to a whole load of keepers, it was with the assumption that Nuno was going to get rid of Hermansen. I'm now beginning to think whether it was with a view to moving Areola on. There were one or two stories that one or two clubs were interested in Areola. I think a couple of Turkish clubs were. Was it Fenerbahce? I think were apparently rumored to be interested in him. So, look, I think even if we stay up this season, at the end of this season, I think there's going to be some more wholesale changes. Nuno's already made his mark. He's gotten rid of quite a lot of players. He's brought in 4 or 5 players of his own. And no doubt in the summertime, whether we stay in the Premier League or not, in the summertime, there's going to be wholesale changes. And I have absolutely no doubt one of those changes is going to be a goalkeeper, which means I think Areola, this will be his last season at West Ham United. But can he still produce for us? Yeah, I think he can. Can Hermansen? I think he got an easy ride at the weekend. If Hermansen can do what he did against Burnley, against Man United, if he's selected, then fair play. But I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. So you're right. We were linked to a load of goalkeepers. What was that with the view? I thought it was because we were going to let Hermansen go, but maybe, just maybe, it could be because Nuno was looking for his next number one. Mark, good evening, mate. Don't worry, I was late, so you should know that by now. Ralph, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Man will be doing a few shots and corners. Man United will be doing a few shots and corners. Man? Which man? Mandy, good evening. How are you? Mads lets 1 million goals in half a dozen games, keeps a clean sheet against Burnley, and now fans want him as number one. I'm with that. This is my thinking again. It's not. I don't want to knock Hermansen. I'm sure there's a really good goalkeeper in there, but it just worries me that he's kept a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest, who weren't doing that great at the beginning of the season. He's kept a clean sheet against a really poor Burnley team, and all of a sudden he's our saviour. I think you're spot on there, and that's confusing to me. Mr. Williams, are you going to come to the pub we said tomorrow? Just do it one-off. I'll chat to you after the show. Frog. At least Mads catches the ball rather than punching it. But again, in fairness, I wonder how many balls Mads Hermansen would have been catching against Chelsea if he played in that game. I'm not sure he would have played that. He would have done. I don't want to knock him. Because he did all right. But I think he had an easy ride. Phil Parks, best goalie ever for West Ham. One of the best, absolutely. Toha. Usual, if you want 6 minutes, I'll check. Don't know what that's all about, but you keep chatting, lads. Andrew. Areola has been decent, to be fair. Harsh to criticise him on recent form. Yeah. See, even the fan base is split. Some are, bigging up Areola, some are not. So it's interesting that everyone's thinking along the same lines. Some are thinking it's time to replace him. Others are thinking he should stay in the team for what he's already done. Jay Hammer, good evening to you. I like Areola, but he's having an average season. One of the reasons why we're struggling, no clean sheets. I think Nuno needed to give Hermansen a go. Areola to be back for the FA Cup. If the test is going to be tomorrow, if Hermansen plays tomorrow and keeps a clean sheet, hey, hands up. I'll be the first to go, you know what? I was wrong. If he plays tomorrow and we lose badly because he can't reach the corners of his goal, what then? Carpi. Disasi is perfect for us, exactly what we need. Don't want Todibo back another one. I disagree. I think it's going to be the future partnership. It's going to be Todibo and Disasi. They are perfect for each other in their style of play. I think you've got one, tough nut like Disasi heading the ball away, etc., and you've got someone calm on the ball like Todibo being able to take the ball away with his pace and everything. I think they're made to play alongside each other. You stick with Mads until he has a bad game, Harry. Gregory, is it possible that it was just a case of giving a backup some game time to keep him sharp, and Burnley was a good time to get? Absolutely, it's very possible. Absolutely, but again, I would sort of say you've taken Areola's chance of keeping a clean sheet away from him, and that would have done Areola the world of good. Alec, Areola, good shot stopper, but he's a vampire. Doesn't like crosses. That's fair. That's fair. Apparently, Mark, Areola likely carrying an injury. Said that at the beginning of the show. My understanding is he wasn't. Adam, love seeing Disasi running the length of the pitch to celebrate the goal. Hey, that's really interesting, isn't it? That's a good comment, that, because we were led to believe that he didn't want to come to West Ham. Even I did a show and said, what was it? A transfer no one wants. I think I titled it. That the player didn't want it. West Ham didn't want it. No one wanted it. But to see him actually doing that celebration, good on him, because it shows that he's in it. He's in for the fight, and that really, really is important. Andy Wass, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Got up early to watch your show. Thank you so much. Good game on Saturday. With not a strong team we played, I will take the 3 points. But like I said earlier, Wasser, it doesn't matter who you play. You just got to beat who you got in front of you. Could Todibo start in Souček's spot? No, because Todibo is suspended. Do you mean for the future? No, we've got enough holding midfielders. We've got enough central midfielders to fill that spot if Souček gets dropped in the future. Debbie, Mark, 6 points behind Tottenham. They have Newcastle and Arsenal. We have United and Bournemouth. I do reckon they'll lose both. And if we somehow beat United and Bournemouth, we catch them equal points. Oh, that would be great. Ronnie, what have I missed? Just got in. Good evening to you, mate. I hope you're well. Not much. We were talking a lot about Hermansen and Areola over anything else, and who might start against Man United on Tuesday night. Brian, good evening to you. 442, Back to the Future. It is great to see. It is a little bit, and to top it all, the goal that Tati Castellanos scored was a bit of a throwback. That slanting header, from a striker. It was a bit of an old-fashioned kind of goal, wasn't it? So it was nice. It was nice to see that. I don't know how to pronounce that. Have you changed your tag? Puffo? I'm going to go for Puffo until you tell me otherwise. Competition in all positions is exactly what's needed. Nuno would have looked at all the stats before making decisions on who to pick. This includes Man United game. Competition for all positions. And I, did a show asking, has Nuno now got the balance that he needs in this West Ham side? And it seems that he has. Do you remember? Only last week, many fans were complaining we got rid of too many players. Too many players we've got rid of. We didn't bring in enough, but we seem to have enough players now for each position in the squad. That's what it looks like. English Yardie. Areola, to be honest, needs to start against Man United. Hermansen against Man U on corner kicks scares me, especially Slabhead, Aka, Maguire. Hopefully, Disasi will take control of the defence. And this is where what I'm leaning towards. I do want to see Areola come back in goal, but of course, if we don't keep a clean sheet, everyone's going to be shouting out for we should have had Hermansen in. Can't win, can you? All tackled up. Good evening to you, mate. I hope you're well. Some loving forward play as well. Jimmy and Diouf linking up well. Everyone's been linking up well. Isn't it a coincidence that not only Paco Gemes coming in, apparently controlling some of the attacking stuff that we do in training, but also a certain Lucas, can't remember his surname, has gone, and we just feel more like a team now, and we're joining up the dots, and we're not getting the ball held up in the middle of the park, and then a certain Lucas, someone losing the ball and giving the ball away. We're not doing that anymore. We're moving the ball faster. Or am I wrong? Steve, good evening to you. Let's make Man United a statement to win. Let others worry about us. Then on to Burn. Absolutely. I mean, what better way to have a week than to beat Man United and then get knocked out of the cup by Burn? Better not. Bloody long way to go. Leon, Wolves played like Prima Barcelona against us, so I wouldn't put it past them to beat Forest. This is the beauty of Premier League football. Darren, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Great result. Good to have a clean sheet. Might help Manson's confidence, but would still use Areola, as Manson didn't really get tested. But one shot they did have, he wasn't even close to it. We saw a couple of shots go by the post, was standing behind the goal, and in the second half, and in the first half, sorry. And had they been on target, Hermansen wouldn't have reached them. That's my concern. He doesn't have the reach. Who else have we got here? Mandy again. Bruno Fernandes takes 5 shots just outside the box. Who do you want in goal? I know who I do. But, if Hermansen is in goal and he keeps a clean sheet, fair play. Do you think, Huge, we should make the new assistant pack? No, let's not get carried away. He's the assistant, which is why it's working, because he's, bouncing ideas off Nuno. Thankfully, Nuno's taken them on board, and we're doing better. Should we go down and Nuno doesn't stay, then quite possibly he might become our manager. Gemes might become our manager for next season. Quite possibly. Hammer 1984. Good evening, mate. I've been baiting the Spuds channels, just kindly letting them know we are coming for. Ronnie, mate. Bruno Maguire said he hopes Magads? Who? Hermansen. Are you talking about Hermansen's playing? Daniela. Anthony, yes, there are no confidence. They will get anything from no confident. They will get anything from their games. What Anthony was talking about earlier. Darren, Areola has saved us points a lot this season. Ain't his fault he's had crap defenses in front of him. Trudge. Also, his kicks and punches give ball straight back to them, and another wave of attack starts. That is also true. Hermansen's distribution is a lot better. Hermansen catches the ball. Let's see when he's under pressure tomorrow, if he plays, whether he's going to catch that many balls tomorrow. But you're right. When Areola punches the ball, goes straight back out to the opposition, sets them up for another attack. I do enjoy the underage watch-alongs. Ian, his quizzes are good. From Toha, if only I had time to watch all that. Massive. Good evening, mate. I will put in 20 quid on us to lose as insurance. Good wink there at the end. You got me worried there for a minute. Graham. Spuds are in brilliant form, and long may it continue. It was the Seattle Seahawks. Thank you, Peter. I was watching something. I kept falling asleep on the sofa, and then found myself waking up at 4 o'clock, and it finished. And I went, oh, well, English Yardie. Areola just needs to boss the box. Communication is everything on defense. Hermansen looks so small, especially on corner kicks. 6'1" for a goalie. It's not big. Michael, I've had Borough tonight. Tomorrow, I've had Newcastle, Norwich, Birmingham, Cambridge. You've had them? I don't understand. Watching, you mean? Randy, good evening to you. I'm very well. I do hope the injuries don't affect the go run, the run we're on as the crunch games are coming up. Man United will be the real acid test. Hope we can impose ourselves tomorrow. Absolutely. Let's scroll down so I can carry on. I'll tell you what, why don't I stop there and let's go into doing a bit of a match preview. So Man United. Yes, they are playing an awful lot better. We're now 3 points, as I said earlier. Let's get that off for a second. We're now 3 points behind Nottingham Forest, all to play for on Tuesday night. All right, I know our goal difference is mainly another point. But we host Man U, who have been resurgent since we played them at their ground when we got ourselves a thoroughly deserved 1-1 draw. Let's not forget what we did at their ground as well when we were playing pretty badly. But we put in a great performance against them at their ground a couple of months ago now. Can't remember how long ago it was. We went through a very sticky patch after that, with the defeat against Wolves, etc. But since that game and the subsequent game against Nottingham Forest, which was not great, we really have come alive. We've given ourselves a fighting chance to stay up this season. Man United haven't lost in the past 4 games under Michael Carrick. He's kind of galvanised this team. But you look at, you look at West Ham. All right, I know we're down the bottom of the league and they're much further up. But our form over the last 4 or 5 games is pretty much the same. Carrick has galvanised the team. He's got them playing, great for Man U. But we're not going to be a pushover. If this was 5 weeks ago, I would have worried greatly. But it's not. Because they're going to have to worry about us as well. And you've got to remember, apart from the blip against Chelsea, we're having a bit of our renaissance ourselves. Carrick encourages players to express themselves. They play with freedom. They trust their instincts again. Something like Bruno Fernandes has repeatedly highlighted this is what they need to do. So the shift has lifted the mood. They've restored belief in themselves. They created more positive chances. They've got an energetic atmosphere back at Old Trafford. But this ain't Old Trafford. We've got to make the London Stadium noisy on Tuesday night. Right, they've won their last 4 games under Carrick in the Premier League, something they've not achieved for the past 2 years. So these wins include strong performances against Spurs, Fulham, Arsenal, Man City, and it looks like a team that's got purpose again, has got some cohesion. And Carrick's in-game adjustments have also been decisive. So whether it's timely substitutions like, I don't know, bringing Sesko on, for example, or tactical tweaks to regain control is happening under Carrick. He's calm, he's controlled. I'm impressed with Carrick. And when people were asking about making Michael Carrick West Ham manager, I was like, no, he just hasn't done it at Middlesbrough. He flattered to deceive there. Well, he got them going, then it fell behind, got them going, fell behind. But he's done it with Man United. Could it be the new manager bounce? Who knows? But he's got players like Kobe Mainoo back in the team. He's flourished under Carrick. He was struggling for consistency with the previous manager, but this system now shows what Mainoo's all about. I like him. There was a moment in the transfer window that he might have been available for transfer. I think they got rid of their previous manager just at the right time because he stayed and he seems to have, he's really playing well under Carrick. Carrick really likes him, and Mainoo's doing extremely well. And Mainoo's one of the biggest beneficiaries of Carrick's arrival. Alongside Casemiro, he controls the game now. They control that midfield. So that's going to be a tough battle on Tuesday night. It's going to be a good leveler to see how good our own Fernandes is, our Matthias Fernandes. It's going to be interesting to see how he fares against a Man United midfield that's really kind of in form. There's a little bit of a similarity between Man United's central midfield and ours at the moment. You've got young Mainoo and then an experienced Casemiro. And then for us, you've got young Fernandes and an experienced Souček. I'm not suggesting for a minute that Souček is on the same par as Casemiro, but then who's better, Fernandes or Mainoo? Fernandes or Mainoo? So with that change in mind, Carrick has given Bruno Fernandes, their own Fernandes, the freedom to roam a little bit more. So instead of playing in a rigid system with the previous manager, Bruno is dangerous again now. He's allowed to that freedom, that kind of like midfield in between the strikers kind of role. And then they do have players from the bench, players like Benjamin Sesko that Carrick can use to change a game. And they've got a lot of danger points. They've got, they've got Brian and Mbuemo. They've got Cunha. They've got a number of players that are a good, big goal threat. Mbuemo, he scored against Man City, and No, he didn't score 2 against Man City. He scored 1 against Man City. He scored against Arsenal alongside Dorgu, alongside Cunha. They're scoring goals for fun again. But Man United can be a bit leaky. The only clean sheet they've had is against Spurs recently. They can be vulnerable at the back, and I think with West Ham, the way we're playing, I think we might be able to get at them at the weekend. On Tuesday nights. Now let's get on to the rumours. There's loads of suggestions about injuries. Bowen, Somerville, etc., etc. The only doubt that I've been told tonight is Pablo. Pablo is the only doubt. That's my understanding. As people have pointed out, he picked up a knock against Burnley. He kind of almost looked like he was injured already. He had a knock in the previous game against Chelsea, but and that's probably one of the reasons why Wilson started against Burnley at the weekend. But my understanding is that it's only Pablo who's got an injury, who is a big doubt for the game at the this coming Tuesday night. Players like Wilson, Bowen, my understanding, Souček, etc., they're all fit. Disasi was another player that was rumoured to not be fit for this game, but my understanding is he is also available. So who's going to be my pick? Well, I don't know if it's my pick. This is why have I got to why have I got 2 Mavropanoses there? So you can ignore that one in the top corner. I think this is the team that Nuno is going to go for. I think he's going to keep Hermansen in goal. I think he'll keep the same back line. Big test for Disasi, having only just played his first full game, his first full 90 minutes. It's distracting me that Mavropanos in the corner there. Do ignore him. And the 4 in the middle, I don't think is going to change. And I think Wilson will start alongside Tati. Now, if Pablo is anywhere near fit, he'll be on the bench. And you've got other players on the bench now. Ollie Scarles, Walker Peters, Kilman. He didn't use Kilman at all, did he, on Saturday? Keeping him fresh for tomorrow night, of course. But you've got midfielders there. We're a little bit light up front if Pablo is injured. That's the only slight concern. We're a little bit light. So could it be that Nuno might decide it's too risky to start with 2 strikers? Could it be that he might only start with Tati, have Wilson coming on from the bench if Pablo is injured? And if that's the case, then he may go 4-5-1. He may decide to bring in maybe Potts in between Fernandes and Souček to fill out the midfield. That could be a possibility, and starting Wilson on the bench. That's the only other change I think that could possibly happen. If Pablo is injured, he could probably start with Potts in the middle and put Wilson on the bench. Would you mind that? Would you mind the 4-5-1 formation if that's the case? I don't think it'll be a bad thing to do. I think it'd be quite sensible for him to do that, and I would welcome that. Look, I think we can get at Man United. I think our wide players can definitely get at them. I think there'll be a battle in midfield. Hence the suggestion that maybe there might be a 5 in midfield, a 4-5-1 formation. But that would mean that either Souček or Fernandes would be pushed slightly further forward in order to assist Tati and not keep him too isolated. He could go with a 4-3-3. He could change that with a 4-3-3, have Bowen and have Somerville either side of Tati, and have a 3 solid midfield with Potts alongside Souček and Fernandes. So you can go for that as well. That's where the game is going to be won, midfield. If we can get the ball out to our wide players, if we win that midfield battle, get the ball out to our wide players, I think we can cause them problems. I think there's absolutely no reason why we can't give Man United a run for their money. But they've got players that can hurt us. They've got the Cunhas, they've got the Mbuemos, they've got all these players. Their players are now beginning to tick, worth the money that they've been paid for them. That's why the defense. See, Man United are one of the teams that have scored a lot of goals from, is it corners and set pieces? So this is the other thing about who do you put in goal? Do you take that risk and have Hermansen in there, or do you go for the tried and tested or the experience, let me say, the experience of Areola. It's going to be interesting. Let me go back to this. Again, ignore the two Mavropanoses on the pitch. I think Nuno will start with this team. I think we'll go with Hermansen. The four at the back won't change from the game against Burnley. The four in midfield probably won't change. The only change, quite possibly, is if Pablo is injured. Wilson will start on the bench, Tati up front, and I think then Potts will come into that lineup to create a 4-5-1 or a 4-3-3 formation. But what do you think? What do you think he'll do? Do you think he's going to start Hermansen? Do you think he's going to play two up front if Pablo is injured, or will he not gamble that? Let's go into your comments and see what you have to say. Josh, I don't think Hermansen has done enough to be number one. He didn't look composed early in the game, knocked youth out and almost confused things with Mavropanos. And he's meant to be a good communicator. Paul, still your voice sounds like warm custard. It's putting me to sleep, but in a good way. It's my voice. It's tired. I haven't had a lot of sleep last night, to be honest with you. So I'm pretty tired. So my apologies for that, Paul. But at least I'm good for something. I'm good for insomnia, as some of my friends tell me. Randy, still good. Good to see you, Frog. Good to see Frog. Trodge, need to encourage competition and merit-based selection, not favourites like the Kilman, Ward-Prowse, Paqueta days. Great point. Absolutely great point. Michael, question. Do you think the new assistant has got a lot to do with the improvement? Talked about that already, and I did a show about that a few weeks back. I think absolutely. I think he's bringing a fresh approach to this lineup, and I think it's good on Nuno to have brought him in and to be listening to his suggestions. So yes, I think he's had an impact. Absolutely. Daniela, just seen Barcelona have walked away from the Super League project, leaving Real Madrid the only club. Again, only Real Madrid involved. That happened before. Leon. 100% agree with you, Trodge. Give the players more incentive to fight for their positions. Randy. Unfortunately, the knocks is not ideal with the fact that the squad has not got the depth needed. However, just hope we can still get the results possible to get out of this to see how the run goes. I know a lot of people are upset with the number of players that we brought in. We let, 9 go plus all the academy players on top of that, and we only brought in 4, maybe 5 players with this La Madrid, K-Bar La Madrid. Now, there you go. If Pablo is injured, then maybe K-Bar La Madrid will be on the bench for us, an unknown source. So that actually could be the interesting replacement for Pablo, that La Madrid may come into the squad. Fataki, good evening, mate. Galispera to you. Can't wait for tomorrow. Areola will be back tomorrow, and Hermansen back for the FA Cup. It's going to be interesting. I'll tell you what, why don't we do a little, what do I want to do? How shall I phrase it? Shall I phrase it? Let's go into, how shall I phrase it? Let me just go into the chat. Let me put that on silence. I'm going to ask you guys a question. I'm going to ask you guys 2 questions, actually. Who do you want? Who do you want in goal? Did that go? Can't see it. Yeah, who do you want in goal? I'll tell you what. No, I'll give you a choice. Let's confirm. Get rid of that. Let me try again. Who do you want in goal? Mads. Alphonse. There you go. Who do you want in goal, Mads or Alphonse? And then what I'm going to ask you after that is, who do you think is going to get picked? So there's a difference there. Who do you want in goal, Mads or Alphonse? And then I'm going to ask later, who do you think Nuno's going to pick? John, good evening, mate. Keep a winning team. Is Matt? Yeah, I get it. Kept a clean sheet. And you can't knock him for that, can you? Trod, Nuno mentions this in press conference about us players pushing each other. Should always be that way. There should not be a guaranteed starting 11. What upset me a little bit in the whole Paqueta fiasco was that Nuno came out and said he's our best player. You know, what did that say to the rest of the players? Ironically, it's actually done better than I thought it might do. Because when you turn around and go, he's our best player, he's got to start, he's got to play, etc., etc., some of the other players are probably going, what's the point? You know, it doesn't matter how hard I try, I ain't getting picked. And I think that's a good thing, that the fact that Paqueta's gone, because players have stepped up. Somerville has stepped up, Bowen has stepped up, Fernandez has stepped up. A lot of these players have now stepped up. And actually, the replacement to Paqueta is Souček, who's also stepped up. Hermansen played well, English Yardie, because it was Burnley. Man United will be frothing at the mouth with Hermansen in goal, especially on corner kicks. There you go. You see how people's going to be interesting. Who do you want in goal to see what the result's going to be there? Hammer PGH, good evening to you. Hermansen did okay on Saturday, but still looked nervy. That doesn't help the defense confidence. Plus, he looked really slight to me. Areola for me. 6'1" against 6'4". His reach is not as great. DJ, wonder if La Madrid can make his debut late on. Well, as I've just mentioned, if Pablo is injured, if he's out of the squad, quite possibly La Madrid might be the player to be coming on. Will be on the bench. I saw a rumor that La Madrid made the squad, all tackled up. We look much more progressive going forward. We are taking our chances now. Some great goals. I mean, the way that Somerville dinked the ball over the keeper for the first goal, absolute confidence. You know, a couple of weeks back, he wouldn't have had the confidence to do that. So fantastic. Brian. Also, if there wasn't enough incentive tomorrow night, that fellow with the big barnet will have to start all over again. If we get something, he isn't cutting his hair until, oh yeah, I read about that. Yeah, who cares about Man United fans? Dads, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Feeling great. Feeling a lot better than I was, to be honest with you. Still put an option poll. Ariel just done it. So you tell me who you want, because then I'm going to ask you the question of who you think Nuno's going to pick. So the poll there at the moment is who you would pick as the keeper for tomorrow night against Man United. Darren, Todibo cost us 2 goals against Chelsea as he ran towards Juve twice and left Mav alone marking 2 players. You see how we see things very, very differently. Steve, Areola for me, one shot that went by the post against Burnley, he was nowhere near. Said that earlier in the show. Leon, same Areola, his clean sheets have been with poor teams. There you go. So we got to do it against a big team, haven't we? We've got to do it against Man United and see if we can keep clean sheets against teams like that. Mark, Hermansen character-wise appears to me as pretty confident fella. He does come across as confident, but that doesn't account for his lack of reach, which is really, really worrying for me. Leon, Nomad's clean sheets have been with poor teams. Andrew, Tati, looking good up top. That goal is going to do him wonders. I reckon he's going to get a few more goals for us before the season ends. Goals that could keep us in the Premier League. Daniela, come on, everyone blaming our players for the Chelsea loss. They have a bloody good squad who are club world champions, by the way. Good point. Trudge, Areola hasn't got any clean sheets. He hasn't. But I would argue that who knows if Areola played against Nottingham Forest at the beginning of the season, and if he played against Burnley on Saturday, he might have kept those 2 clean sheets as well. Randy, I do think Man United defensively can be got at, but the issue is whether we can keep their attackers out. Cunha, Mbuemo, Ahmad, Sesko could cause us problems. They got a lot of firepower. This is why I think I go back to the lineup I put up earlier on. I'm now beginning to think more and more that we're going to play a 4-5-1 formation. As I kept, anyone that's just joined, forget the 2 Mavropanoses on the pitch. I'm beginning to think more and more it won't be 4-4-2 tomorrow night. It could well be a 4-5-1 formation with Potts coming in, Wilson being on the bench, especially if Pablo is out injured as well. We're going to need a striker coming off the bench rather than having them all on the pitch from the start. Dark Star, good evening, mate. A bit late to the party. What did I miss? Talking more about goalkeeper situation more than anything. What's happened to Magassa? He's still in the squad. Can Magassa play like he did last time against Man United? We'll have an incentive, wouldn't he? I feel sorry for Magassa. I don't know what's happened there. because I think Magassa is a pretty decent player, and he was getting the hang of the Premier League and getting better and better, and then that just stopped. And I don't understand. Well, I guess I do understand because we'd gone with 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1. So someone in midfield had to drop out. It just happened to have been Magassa and Potts. Who would have thought that Souček would be brought back into the team? But I like him. And I dare say we'll probably see a bit of him tomorrow, especially if Potts starts and Magassa and Wilson being on the bench. I can see those sorts of players coming on during that game tomorrow night. Andrew, I would suggest that Nuno does not fancy him much, even though he wanted him at Forest. Probably out of favour at the moment. Who did Andrew? What's happened to Magassa? There you go. Yeah, just sometimes it just happens to players like that. 1 minute they're playing great, a little bit of a rough patch, and then they get dropped, and then it's difficult for them to get back in the squad, in the team. Andrew, hopefully in this game, Magassa has man of the match performance against Man United and would be the better fit, as we need to have a strong midfield against them. Potts or Magassa? That's an interesting question as well. That is an interesting question. Potts or Magassa? It's been Potts lately that's come on from the bench, but would it be Magassa? Right, let's finish that poll. I'll give you the result of that. And I'm going to ask a very similar question this time, because I asked you who you want. This time is, who will Nuno pick? So a slightly nuanced, a different way of asking the question. Mads or Alphonse? So there's another poll about the keepers again, but I asked the question, who do you want in goal? 72% sent Alphonse Areola, 28% said Mads Hermansen. That's quite unanimous. Now I'm asking the question, who do you think Nuno's going to pick for Tuesday night? What else have we got here? Good evening, Greeno. I hope you're well, mate. Thank you for joining. Let's go up. I can see this game, Dark Star. I can see a good game tomorrow. I hope it will be. I've gone 2-2. Yeah. Would I take that? I want to win. I do want a win against Man United. We owe one of these bigger teams a result, and I want to win tomorrow night to show them that we're not going to be pushovers when we play the likes of Liverpool, Man U, Arsenal, etc. Victor, Nuno has said players will be missing tomorrow. We have to give late fitness checks. Yeah, Pablo definitely is out. I don't know if there will be anybody else apart from him. I'm on better blockers after watching West Ham, John. You need them, mate. Lawrence, we all need them. Remember, Pablo came off the bench in the Burnley match. He did, but he looked injured. He didn't look right. I think he's definitely missing from the game tomorrow night, without a doubt. Any others? Well, we've heard, Bowen, Somerville, Souček, Disasi have all been linked with having injuries, but my understanding is it's only going to be Pablo missing tomorrow. Darren, think we'll finish above Forest. I remember how the Thursday, Sunday fixtures took its toll on us. Absolutely did. Good evening to you, Stephen. We were getting overrun in the second half by Burnley until he brought on Potts to bolster the midfield, and then we cruised it. Getting overrun, the first 10 minutes was a little bit scary, but thank goodness they weren't good enough to score any of the chances that they created. Dark Star, Hermansen got a clean sheet, but so would Areola in that game. This is the point. This is the point that a lot of people have been making. Ricky, I would have played Hermansen for the United game. He's not as good. I wouldn't play Hermansen for the United game. He's not as good a shot stopper as Areola. Sean would say Mav, Dinos, Mav. I think you like Mav, don't you? Randy, sorry. Depending on injuries, I think the lineup should be Hermansen, Wan-Bissaka, Diouf, Mavropanos, Disasi, Fernandes, Magassa, Samuel, Bowen, Tati, and Pablo. I think Pablo's definitely out. I think he is. I think we will see a couple of changes, one enforced and one tactical. Douglas, going to use personal time tomorrow to leave work early to watch the match tomorrow. Good on you, mate. I think it will be a good game, a late evening game. I don't think I remember a game starting at 8:15. Pretty sure I don't. No. Dark Star. We might need three in the middle to deal with Casemiro and Fernandes and Mainu. Absolutely. Carpi, wasted my early working life on WHO. Some really funny stuff in the early days, Hammers. Sometimes you guys talk about stuff that I've got no clue about. I just pick them randomly and I go, what do you mean by that? Hammers Football. Good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Randy again. Darren, good to see you, mate. I would have Areola. I think Nuno'S mind as Manson got the clean sheet from the Burnley game. He might go with him, but we'll have to see. Good evening, the cat. How are you? I have one word for our revival and our chances of Premier League survival. We now have something called momentum. Absolutely. Good point. Hammer PGH will be under more pressure this game from their attacks. So Areola is the better option at his better shot. He's far better at shot stopping. Darren. Trudge, only reason Chelsea scored 2 of the goals were Todibo ran where Diouf was and left Mavropanos on his own to deal with 2 attackers. If Areola was in goal on Saturday, he would have had a clean sheet as well. You both got good points. Martin, Somerville has been absolutely flying lately. Hope he continues. Hope he makes it 6 goals in 6, and that goal will be the winner. Todibo made some serious errors, but I think Areola made some mistakes for a goal as well in the game against Chelsea. Graham, let's make sure the Manx have to worry about us tomorrow. Absolutely. Good evening to you, Lynn. How are you? I think Hermansen will get bullied by Man United. Good point. Dabble a bit. Good evening, Dabble a bit. Are you saying if Mads was a dinosaur, he'd be called Mad Rex? Trudge. It reminds me of top fullback Maldini. Didn't look spectacular. Never went to ground to tackle, as his positioning was always good. One of the best defenders ever, wasn't there? Carpi. Burnley excuse doesn't stack up as Areola let in 2 goals against them at home, plus 3 versus Wolves. That's fair. I still think I'm more on Areola than I am Hermansen. Because also remember we got Disasi in at the weekend. Would Areola not have benefited with Disasi in front of him? I think he might have done. Randy, I'll be watching the game from home. Still nervous about it. Would have a good chance of getting a result depending on the setup. Martin, how far behind am I? Not far. I've been impressed with Tati since his debut and think he scores a few goals before the end of the season. Absolutely agree. Gregory, I really like Stell's 1-4-4-2 formation. I think that gives us the edge. I know. I was looking for the Mavropanos photo and I couldn't find it. And I went, well, when did I delete that? So I created another one, only to realize it was always in the corner. Carpi. I think he will play the same team on Saturday, but will shut up shop early, even after halftime. I'm beginning to think he's going to go with 1 up front. Only because what I said earlier, if Pablo is injured, he's going to need a striker to come on from the bench, which means he'll probably bench Wilson. He'll put Tati up front. And then if he needs to change the striker, at least he can change Tati and Wilson. So I'm beginning to think it will be a 4-5-1 formation. Juha. Areola has had 10 times the chances of getting clean sheets than Mads. And has he? I would say Wolverhampton was the easiest game of the year. We were shit against Wolves. You can't blame that on Areola. We were absolutely awful from start to finish. But I get your point. Hammer PGH. I agree about Magassa. Thought he was doing a decent job, but after the Wolves debacle, he and Potts seem to have been the ones to have taken the fall. He takes no prisoners, Nuno. If he thinks you haven't done well, he gets you out of the team, doesn't he? Tati has a great header on him. That's 2 now. Like I said earlier in the show, that looked like a good old-fashioned striker slicing header that at the weekend. So I'm going to close that poll because I asked you a slightly different question to the one I asked earlier. Earlier, I asked you who would you pick in goal, and it was unanimous about Alphonse Areola. And I asked now, who will Nuno pick? 52% Mads said Mads. Alphonse 48%, so slightly there in favour of Mads Hermansen. Interesting. Frog. Hammers Fans TV. We're all sat looking at the screen like an airport. What did you see? Looking at the screen like an airport. This is what I shouldn't do. I shouldn't just pick random comments. I think Hermansen will be the choice for the games where we're likely to be the more attacking team. Possibly Bournemouth he will start. That's interesting. Would he play him for certain games and not for others? Yeah. Yeah. Randy, Darren, one thing that is in our favour despite the injury concerns is our record against Man United at home is decent. I think we've not lost to Man U at home since 2021, so got a good chance of a result. I hope you haven't jinxed that now, mate. Let's scroll down. Mandy, I can see Scar's in for Diouf and Walker Peters about what do you think for tomorrow's game? I'm not so sure there. For the weekend, maybe. The cup game, yeah. Simon, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Oh, let me do some shout outs. I always forget. At the game on Saturday, a number of, I always love it when people come up to me and go, hi, like your channel and all that. I really, really appreciate it. So, for the game against Burnley, my shout out to Justin, Martin, Ben, and Gary. Thank you, lads, for the conversations. Thank you for coming up to me and saying hello. Really, really appreciated. Trodge. I am the weaver of hope, searching shadows for silver strands of stars. I make light out of darkness. I make dreams out of scars. A poet in our midst. Tosh, good evening. Tash, sorry. Good evening. Sorry, Tash. We need a win tomorrow. We absolutely do. We absolutely do. Stephen. Mav has to be one of our most improved players. He was getting booed when he came on early in this. He was getting booed last season. That was absolutely wrong to do that. Please do hit the like button. Please do become a subscriber of the channel by clicking on that thing up there. That I've forgotten what it's called, but that barcode, you know what it is. Click on that in the corner. You can become a subscriber of the channel. Hey, Hammer, I work in Stratford, so I've got to stay on until late tomorrow to go straight to the game. Looking forward to it, though. Go to a pub, go to the Weatherspoons and buy me a double spice rum and coke. Anthony, Nuno being the next goalkeeper should realise that Areola has to start against Man U. Nuno being the next goalkeeper probably realised that Hermansen should start playing. You can see it in both ways. It's an interesting one. Randy. Darren, it's possible. Absolutely. Also, Spurs will be dragged into it with Forest. However, Forest, if they're in danger, Marinakis will sack Deitch if there's no improvement. If he sacks Deitch, then they are down. Absolutely, they are down. Liggy Up, great song. Great song. I know. Fantastic. It was great listening to that at the weekend, being part of that. Areola clean sheet tomorrow. Anthony, Darren, Stell. Can you do a poll on Potts and Magassa? Let me do a poll on Potts and Magassa. I knew there was another one, and thank you for reminding me. Let's start. If 5 in midfield, who do you pick? Start a Q&A. End that Q&A because I did it wrong. Let's start it again. I should have an assistant doing all this. Be much easier. If 5 in midfield, who do you pick? Potts or Magassa? There you go. Has anyone checked the shots on target faced? Target against who, mate? Burnley had 4 shots on target last week. 16 shots in total, if that's what you mean, or do you mean something else? Jack, Mads isn't short like some people say. 6'1". I checked it tonight just to make sure. Taller than Pickford, but Pickford's got reach. Every time the ball goes into the corner, Mads can't reach it. That's my concern about Mads. I didn't know he was taller than Pickford. Did you see the training video they released other week, Daniela? Diouf was training 2 academy lads the art of crossing. That's good. That's good. Randy. Darren, this could be Spurs' relegation season as long as we can get the points. They're in trouble. They're not showing much improvement with Champions League as well, so it could happen. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be the most hilarious that we overtake? Thank you. It's a QR code. Wouldn't that be the most funniest thing that we overtake Spurs and they go down? Oh, Jack, some of Areola's saves have been breathtaking. Must be a blow for him being dropped. Yeah, probably would be. Probably would be. Get Wiggy in to help. He's as useless as a chocolate teapot. He really is. He's rubbish at this sort of stuff. He doesn't even watch. He admits it. He says, "I don't watch your show. You know, I just go on it when you call me." Darren, you should get Wiggy on as your assistant. Toha Anang had a cracker of a game on Sunday. Anang, who's he playing for now? Hammer PGH. I'd go Potts purely because he's more composed on the ball. I do like Magassa though, and he always puts in a decent shift. Absolutely. So Heggie, I talked about Heggie earlier on. He's out on loan at MTK Budapest. They lost 4-2, I think, at the weekend. What are we getting here? 60% Potts, 61% Potts, 40% Magassa so far. I've run out of comments and I've run out of show and I've only done an hour and 25 minutes. So should we, here we go. Anthony, if Spuds go down, Kudus will throw his toys out. Let him. Who cares? Let him. He'll want to go to a big club. So he'll want to go to someone like, I don't know, West Ham or something, wouldn't he? Good. Can you imagine him going down with the Spuds? Randy, Darren, we can stay up just to have the points. Spurs continue with their injury crisis and form. Will be okay. They've got to focus on the Champions League. Dabble a bit. Not just about reach. Maybe Pickford has better positioning. That's why it may look like he's got a good reach for a short goalie. Yeah, good point. Andrew, Magassa was brilliant in the away game at Man United. My reason for going with Magassa. Darren, who would you pick for midfield? It is an interesting question. I think I like Potts. I think he's done extremely well. But if I was going to play five in the middle, Bowen, Somerville, Fernandez, Souček, I'd probably put Magassa in there because he's got a bit more bite about him. That's who I'd go for. And then you've got Potts to come on from the bench. Keep Bruno and Diallo quiet and we have a chance tomorrow. Darren, ain't it great Kudus leaves for Spuds and they're struggling? The Cats, Spuds going down is the stuff of dreams. It would be hilarious. Absolutely. If Spurs go down, Kudus will want to come back, Mark. Absolutely. Sean, what's our win percentage when Wiggy is absent? I don't know. I'm going to say it's pretty good. And he won't be there tomorrow because he's taking his missus out to the Ritz. I'd put Kante in next to Souček. I'd bring Kante on from the bench at some point, but not necessarily start him. Right, let's finish that. Let's finish that poll. Let's click there. End poll. So I asked you if it's going to be five in the middle, who would you put, Potts or Magassa? 59% for Potts, 41% said Magassa. Fair play. I do think from Randy, in terms of the midfield, as Magassa and Fernandez, if both are available, need to be the starting midfielders against Man U. We can't get overrun. They're good at set pieces as well. Yeah, fair. Right. Foxes, Carrick is due a loss. Bring it on tomorrow. Absolutely. Look, tomorrow night, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it will be an interesting game. It's going to be interesting to see who he starts. Whoever he starts, of course, we're going to support them. We always support the team. And the one thing I'm confident about that I wasn't confident about maybe a month or so ago is that we will give them a good game. I think we absolutely will give them a good game. And we got to go at them. Let's finish off because Andrew's just given me the hint. Let's finish off with score predictions. Andrew says 3-1. I'm going to go with a 3-2 win for West Ham United. So give me your score predictions whilst we do the other comments. Toha, do you think we should go Burton with a strong team? No. And I'll tell you for why. Because our under-21s have demonstrated that they are on par, if not better than, League One, League Two teams. So even if we play a couple of the youngsters at the weekend, I think we will do well. I really do. I think we'll give some of our players a bit of a respite after playing, Burnley and now Man United. So it won't surprise me if we go with a slightly weakened. We go with a couple of academy players. Neon says 2-1. Trodge says 2-1. Anthony says 3-0. Mark says 4-2 to West Ham. Somerville brace Bowen and Disasi goal from a corner. Darren goes for a Desmond. John says 1-1. Mark, we're going to lose. Oh, mate, come on. Dabble a bit, 2-0. Sorry, get that. Dabble a bit says 2-0. No, Harry says 2-0. Dabble a bit also says 2-0. Ralph says 2-1 Fernandez, long shot. Sorry, Darren is going too fast. Where did Ralph's one go? There we go. Ralph says 2-2 or 3-2 either way. No, you can't have that. You've got to choose one or the other. Joan 2-1. Double a bit says 2-0. Brendan 3-2. Graham 2-0. With you, Stel Daniela 3-2 to West Ham. Stephen 3-1. Frog 2-0. Jack 1-1. Randy Hart says 2-1 win. Man United 3-1. Hope my heart is right. Man United Foxes 3-0. Victor 2-2. Dark Star 3-2 to West Ham. Ronnie, well done, mate. 2-1 to West Ham. English Yardie 2-1 West Ham. Playing with confidence. There you go. So I think there was more people saying we'd win than defeats or draws. People, that's it. Thank you so much. We obviously will do a show. If I get any team news early, I will give you that. Definitely we'll do a review after the show. No Wiggy. He's at the Ritz tomorrow, having tea with his missus. So hope he has a good time there. So it'll be a review with either myself or someone else. So look out for that as well tomorrow night. Thank you all very much for watching. That hammers Peter. I've got to put this in because he's stupid. Mr. Peters, 4-0. Surely Casemiro will be out for Man United after Romero studded him. That's got to be severe bruising. Oh, actually, you said something sensible for a change there, Paul. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for getting involved. Really much appreciated. Big game tomorrow. Big game tomorrow. If we can win that game, then the pressure really is on the teams below us. See you all soon.